The Devil All the Time made pretty big headlines this year, and for good reason. It's a psychological thriller that's partially based on a true story, and in this particular video, we're gonna see what the actors did before shooting the movie. So, here are the crazy things that the cast did to prepare for The Devil All the Time. So let's dive right in, shall we? Number 10, Robert Pattinson's accent preparation. By now you know that the accent the actors brought to the table would either make or break their performance, and the director didn't really know what to do with the fact that Robert Pattinson, one of the biggest stars in the movie, avoided a dialect coach. Luckily, when he showed up on the set, he smash that like button if you haven't done so already. But no, in reality, Pattinson had nailed the southern accent perfectly. They were all surprised at how natural his accent was, since he worked on it all alone, but he said he had to do a lot of prep work in order to get it just right.
Wait! No, calm down, please!
I don't want to shoot you, put the gun down. I don't want to shoot you.
I'm so sorry!
Number 9, Bill Skarsgård was intimidated by the role. Just like Robert, Bill Skarsgård is another big movie star that's part of this movie, but you might not know how he reacted when he was offered the role. The first thing he did was go through the script and see what the movie was about. As soon as he read the script, Bill knew this movie would be a major hit, based on the storyline. He said so himself in an interview. And as soon as he was done reading the script, he started doubting himself. He wasn't sure if he could do the character justice and portray it well, but at the end of the day, he defeated all his insecurities and his performance was top-notch in the movie.
That was an awful thing your daddy did. God damn it, boy! Don't fuck with me!
Number 8, Tom Holland's accent prep. We know Tom as the actor who plays Peter Parker in the most recent Spider-Man movies, and we've grown accustomed to hearing him in that high-pitched voice all the time. But he says that is not the real Tom Holland. Just like any other actor, we seem to forge that he is an outstanding actor, and he can prove that he played a calm, collected, and southern character just as well as he can a teenager with an excited voice. Plus, he worked with a voice and dialect coach so he wouldn't have some horrible southern accent come filming time.
Jim Lacey, New Burlington, Indiana. Carl never photographed a more symmetrical face. This photo really meant something to him.
Number 7, they had to adapt to shooting in a different country. Now, as we all know, The Devil All the Time takes place in rural 1950 Ohio and West Virginia. They prepared for 3 years before filming started, and they wanted to do it in southern Ohio, but they had to follow the sun. This meant that the 3 months of shooting from the 19th of February until April the 15th, they would go to Alabama and shoot the movie there. This changed almost all of their plans, but Rian Johnson has said that Alabama closely resembles Ohio, and the good part of shooting in Alabama is that because nobody's shot there, everything feels fresh on screen. Plus, the town where they shot the movie is in the same as all those other small towns from the 50s and 60s. They just needed to add some old timers and remove some of the graffiti from the buildings. Other than that, they had a pretty good time.
He hurt my sister so bad. She killed herself, Sheriff. I had to...
Number 6, Harry Melling didn't think too much about his speech. Reverend Roy Laferty is famous for his preaching style as he instills faith and courage in all who listen. One of the most notable speeches he gave was one before dumping all those spiders on his head. So in one interview, he was asked how he prepared for something that moving speech. Immediately, the actor said that he tries to memorize the speech as best he can before coming on set, but then he tries to forget it and enjoy the moment. He wants the speech to sound like his character's coming up with it in the moment. That's why, if he'd memorized everything word for word, the speech would feel mechanic. Therefore, he doesn't fuss too much about it. Number 5, Michael Banks, REPETA, and Bill Skarsgård. By now, you already know that Bill Skarsgård played Pennywise the Clown in It 2017. This terrifying Stephen King monster that feeds on children's fear is actually the only thing that scares Michael Banks' REPETA. And in the movie, he plays little Arvin Russell, the son of Willard Russell. And who's playing Willard Russell? Well, it's none other than Bill Skarsgård. So, what did the actors and the director do to prepare the boy for this shocking revelation? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. They even kept it a secret from him, and when they asked his parents not to tell their son, so when filming began, they just told him and the kid burst into tears. The crying you saw in the movie was actually real. We just want you to know why they would do such a thing. The child might need therapy after that.
Get down there.
The boys at school like to pick on Lenora for her pious manner and pinched face.
Hell, you're so damn ugly. I need a sack over your head just to get a hard on.
Number 4, Antonio Campas spent a lot of time assembling the cast. Now, we know he's not one of the actors in the movie, he's the director. However, that doesn't mean that Antonio had everything handed to him. Actually, it was quite the opposite. He had a hard time assembling all of the actors. So, how did he manage to get almost half of Hollywood to star in his movie? Well, the director managed to land Robert Pattinson because he didn't have any projects at the time. Rob had just finished filming Good Time, and Antonio managed to snatch him up before it was announced that he would be the next Batman. Tom Holland and Mia Wasikowska, on the other hand, already knew the director, so it wasn't that hard getting them to sign up for the roles. And the other thing people don't realize is the fact that the director has to nail the scheduling just right. Otherwise, the busy schedules of the stars would demand they reject the part. That's exactly what happened with Chris Evans. He was supposed to appear in the role as Deputy Lee Bodeker. Sadly, because the studio couldn't work in his schedule and the actor had to back off. Number 3, Robert Pattinson's acting methods. Preparing for a role is the most important part of the actor's job. Robert Pattinson is a living example of this. We already told you that he did some serious prep when it came to his accent. So wait till you hear about the way he prepared for the character himself. Now, we know Reverend Preston is this perverse man of God that is only up to one thing: satisfy his hedonistic desires. So, to portray him as accurately as possible, he had to examine and look at numerous televangelist preachers on tape from the 70s. Then, he had to look at numerous pop stars from the era and build his character off what he saw. He goes through this arduous preparation process for every new character he portrays, mostly because, as they said, there is a feeling of self-doubt that overcomes him, and the only way to shake it off is to actually do some serious prep work. Number 2, Bill Skarsgård beat up 2 professional MMA fighters. We know Willard Russell had some PTSD from the war, and as a result of that, he had some pretty serious anger issues. I mean, the guy basically killed 2 guys because he got very angry with them, but there's no more to that scene than meets the eye. When Bill opened up about filming the fight scene, he said the actors who played the 2 people he killed were actually professional MMA fighters. In order for the scene to look more authentic, they wanted Bill to hit them as hard as he could. Yeah, we're not kidding. That's what the actors said. And seeing how they got beat up for a living, he thought he couldn't do much harm, so he let them have it. All those punches you see flying around are actually real. Man, those guys can take a hit. Number 1, Harry Melling had to let spiders crawl all over him. One of the most iconic scenes in the movie, and boy, there are a lot of them, is the one where Reverend Roy Laferty dumped a bucket of spiders on his face. Convinced that the Lord would protect him, he did it fearlessly. And we know that's not really the case since he got bit by one and went crazy. But that's the story for another time. Now, what we did want to talk about is how the actor prepared for this scene. The first thing he did is actually show up. Once they made sure he would come, they told Melling they would dump a bucket of orb weaver spiders. They told him the spiders don't bite, but that wasn't the thing he was afraid of the most. The thing he feared was getting the shot in one take, as the studio didn't want to harm a single spider while shooting scene. And they did it. One shot, a lot of spiders, and none of them were hurt. Now, could you imagine if he had to do the scene twice? He might as well have quit the movie altogether. And on that note, we end this video. But hey, what do you think about the movie? Did the actors do a good job? You can tell us in the comments section below. If you'd like more videos like these, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon so you never miss any of them. And as always, thanks for watching, guys.